G'day and welcome to a new thing that I'm going to try. It's the lost art of airmanship, and we'll start off with don't scare the birds. Now I'm going to be talking about something that happened to me today at Caboolture, runway 11. Bird strikes can leave you with an extra passenger that you don't need, and it can also leave you with some significant damage to the aeroplane. Apart from the significant damage to the aeroplane, it can leave you with a very messy cleanup. Now, we've had a bird strike last year, which luckily just damaged the propeller. The crew was able to put it back down on the runway, but it still cost us over $6,000 to fix the problem. Now, I've got a still photo here on approach, final approach to runway 11 at Caboolture, just coming across the highway. And it was actually a little bit further on from that. I was with a student taking this photo after the event. And I'm just going to zoom out here, and so I can show you the position on the airfield that I'm going to be talking about. So for those people who are resident at Caboolture or frequent visitors, the areas on the left here marked by the red arrows is the Moreton Bay Regional Council refuse, and it's frequented by a significant number of scavenging birds like ibis, and that's not an insignificant sized bird. Now, earlier in the morning, we were taxiing for circuits, and there was an aircraft on final. And when we got to about this area here, there was a significant number of ibis, and I instructed the student to hold position before we passed through the birds so that we didn't scare them and cause them to take flight up in front of the aircraft that was on final approach. So ironically, not more than 30 minutes later, when we were in the circuit, in this position here photographed, there was an aircraft taxiing, and the birds had returned to this area because there's lots of standing water, and they're doing whatever the birds do. And he did not stop for us, and he taxied right through the birds. And as we continued on final approach, the birds took flight and travelled across the runway centre line back towards the dump, and caused us to do a go around, which is the appropriate thing to do in that instance. However, albeit a good training opportunity and an outcome where there was no damage and lots of things were learnt, a very poor display of airmanship from the pilot concerned who was taxiing. Now, I did have a brief radio conversation with the aircraft. I said something like, aircraft that taxied runway 11 Caboolture, you just taxied through a bunch of birds that flew up into us, caused us to do go around. And the reply I got from the pilot was a little bit, how's your father? And it really did upset me a little bit. He said, well, there was no birds on the taxiway when I went through. But that's not the point. The point is that the result of him taxiing through caused the birds to fly, and could have another pilot who, with less experience, who's focused on landing, might not be looking that far down the runway and go through there. And I said, well, you caused the birds to fly up into us. And he said, well, you tell me the story, mate. You were there. And I just got really, really angry. And so I'm making a video about it to share it. So I'm not going to name the pilot or the aeroplane. It's an exercise in having people think about what's going on, be spatially aware about the results of your actions, and something that you do with your aircraft, like your prop wash, that could have a result. And the result could have been something like this.